So what we're gonna be talking about today is questions. Questions are key. People love to hire other people that ask great questions. So we're gonna talk about questions they ask you and questions you should ask them to get the job. We're gonna start off with questions they ask you. By the way, guys, this is a 3-part series. The first one goes over how to get into the room with those who are going to hire you. Second one is how to prepare for that interview. And third one is this, questions. Before we get into it, if you guys are new to this channel, my name is Brandon Gross, self-taught designer. I work with brands such as Disney and Dannon. This channel is all about being the best designer you can be, building your brand, and getting paid like you should. So with that, don't forget to subscribe and like this video because you guys are gonna learn some awesome stuff. So, let's get into it. Questions. They'll ask about your goals, your personal goals, your design experience, and how you solve problems. I know I was holding my one finger up, but those are 3 things. So let's get into each segment. So first we're gonna start off with goals. So what goals means, these are personal questions, okay? And in this segment of the interview, this is really just character basing. What this section of questions helps your interviewer do is really gauge your character to see if you're a good fit for their team. That's what they're trying to gauge. So your answers might wanna be in terms of what you bring to the table as a teammate. So definitely think about these things. This is not skills. Put this in your mind. Because you're in the room with these people, that means you have the technical skill. So now that you're in the room, I want you to put your character hat on or your people person skills on, because this is what's gonna shine when you're in the room with them. They already know you have the technical skills. Now they just want to see how you are in person. Next is for the design job is, what is your thought process? How do you problem solve? Now this is more of a, it's not really technical, but it's more technical in terms of the mind. They really want to see how you approach problems, how you problem solve. And like I said in my last video in number 2, have a story about how you approach not only design problems, but give them a core example of how you operate as a human being in terms of your approach to things. Whether that, so mine for example, I'm really good at the game Discovery. As a kid, I knew I was perfect for this occupation because as a kid I destroyed at the game Discovery. For those of you who don't know what Discovery is, a memory game that is a card game. And basically all the cards are flipped over or face down and you flip over one by one and everybody gets a turn. And how you win at Discovery, or in my head, it's all about discovery. I don't try to find all the card matches at once. I try to flip everything on the board on my turn. I flip over new cards and figure out the entirety of the playing field I'm playing with. And then once I have a good idea in my head where things are, then I say, okay, I remember, I now have a map in my head where every card is. Or not every card, but I have a good guess of where I haven't looked and where I have looked, and be able to be like, oh, okay, that card's there, or that card's match is there. This is how I explain, you know, why I'm good at what I do, because the way to win at Discovery is understand the whole playing field before you start executing your decisions. That is my story of how I explain my process. Have one of those stories about your process and your design. So next is design experience. This is 3. So they'll ask questions based on your last experience. Things like, you know, why did you leave your last job? You know, what do you see yourself doing here that differs, or you are more compelled to come here and interview with us? And those type of questions. Ask like, what was your biggest achievement in design in your, whether your whole career or in your last job? They'll ask things like that. And basically just to gauge like your skill level. What have you worked on? What have you not worked on? Where will you fit, you know, in their team? Will you be a person that needs extra help, or you be somebody that fits right in and doesn't need any help? So those are the 3 type of questions. You'll get personal questions that gauge your character. You have design and how you think about design, or just how you think in general. And then you'll have your design experience or job experience type questions. Now that we have questions that they ask you, the important part, I believe, is questions that you ask them. Because it's a 2-way street. It's not just them interviewing you. You want to see if you like what you actually see. It's not just that. It's amazing to the people that are interviewing you if you ask amazing questions. I'm gonna give you an example. One question that I absolutely love asking: if you guys could create the perfect designer, what would that look like? And then that gives me a reference point for specifics that they want in a designer. So if they say they want a designer with this specific attribute or that does this, I get to see what they're looking for. And if any of those things are one of my strong suits, I can be like, oh, well, you know, I actually do that thing that that perfect designer does, and that and this. So I can get into their head, put what's in their head out into the table with that question, and then talk about it. I can spin it back on them and say, you know what, I actually do those things really well, give examples of how I do it, etc. Another question is, what are your expectations of somebody in this position? I'm reaching in, trying to pull into their head out onto the table so that I then can react to it. So it's a good question. I get to get into the head of what someone in this position they would have do. On the work requirements online, those things are never true. I want from their mouths and in their own words what they're looking for, because those would be more true, and I can speak to it in that meeting. Once they tell me what they're looking for, I give back to them how I fit their puzzle, because that's how you win the job. If you can get exactly what somebody wants from their own mouth, and then you have exactly that puzzle piece, or you are that puzzle piece that fits exactly what they just told you, tell them. Okay, by doing that, you're showing that you can get information and then project solutions. So that's how you go about it. So with that, guys, this is how you master the questions in the interview phase. So with that, guys, I'm here every day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. But before, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Brandon Gross out.